Welcome to Crime Besties, to part 2 of our Snowtown episode. So just really, really quickly before we even get into anything, if you haven't listened to part 1, please go back to last week's episode and have a listen because it really sets up everything that we're going to talk about today. It's really kind of important.
It's kind of essential. Yeah, otherwise you don't know who these people are that we're talking about.
Yeah, we're not even going to do much of a recap because otherwise this episode will literally be hours long. So
we could talk for days on this, totally.
We definitely could. So just really quickly, before we get started into the part 2 and all of the bits and pieces that people are probably hanging out to hear.
Yes. Recently
in the media, there's been a lot of chatter about the Lucy Letby case, and we just thought it might be timely to sort of mention it and mention what we think, maybe.
So we covered Lucy Letby. Was that episode 4?
Yeah, it was really early on. So you and I really got into the Lucy Letby podcast.
Yes.
Back when it was first released. We were one of those people who were listening week by week. And
to the trial and everything.
Yeah. And it was, I mean, we were low-key obsessed with it, I think.
Yeah.
Like it was something we talked about a lot.
Yeah.
And we absolutely formed strong opinions about it. So what's recently come out in the media, go back and listen to our episode if you want to know what we thought back then.
Yeah.
But what's recently come out in the media is that, so one of the doctors, so this preeminent neonatologist had released a paper, I can't remember what year it was, but it was before, well and truly before the trial, like years and years, 15 something years before the trial. And the prosecutors used this paper that he'd published as evidence to support the fact that Lucy Letby had injected air emboli or embolisms into their babies. And the evidence that was presented was that this paper showed that the way that the mottled skin of the children, of the babies, presented like an air embolus had been injected into their bloodstream, basically. So this neonatologist has decided, I actually heard an interview with him and he said that, so he's Canadian and obviously this case took place in the UK and he has since retired as a neonatologist and he now runs a farm in Canada.
Right.
And he doesn't engage a lot. In fact, I don't think he has any engagement in social media, doesn't listen to podcasts or anything like that. And he'd only read a small article that came out in his local newspaper when this first went to trial. He'd read a little bit about it. So he only knew really limited information. He didn't even know that his paper had been used in the prosecution of Lucy Letby. Didn't even know that.
Okay.
Then somehow it came about that he's come to know that that's what's happened and that as in that his paper has been used. And he then started to look into the case and he now thinks that his paper was misused in the prosecution of Lucy Letby. All that to say that he then convened a panel of literally the best neonatologists in the world. Now, these doctors they did this pro bono, free. Nobody got paid for this. They say they did it without any judgment or preconceived notion of what they think happened. They came at the evidence from a completely independent standpoint. They say that if they found that Lucy Letby was guilty, then they were happy to put that out there.
Yep.
If they found that she wasn't, they were happy to put that out there. What they did was they basically found enough evidence in their opinion to demonstrate the fact that Lucy Letby is not necessarily guilty of murdering those 17 babies. So I think there were 17 babies she was convicted of murdering. There were 25 babies who died, I believe. And I find this incredibly fascinating, but there's lots of different reasons. When you and I first saw this, we were like, oh my God, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
This is like, are we about to potentially let a convicted baby killer out of prison? I don't know that we're even at that point. In fact, we're not at that point.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot that needs to happen.
Apparently, they have to be able to get an appeal to begin with.
That's it. And apparently in the UK, it's really difficult to get an appeal. So you can't get an appeal based on inadequate representation of counsel, which you can in a lot of other jurisdictions in first world countries around the world. So that's really tough because the only way you're going to get a new trial in the UK is if new evidence is brought to the fore.
Yeah,
and
what this paper has already been presented.
That's right.
So therefore it's not new.
No, it's not new evidence.
It's just a new take on it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And what they're saying is that Lucy Letby's defence team had the opportunity to refute what the prosecution used this evidence.
Yeah.
So it's already been tested in court.
Yeah.
And Lucy Letby's counsel didn't challenge it.
No.
So that was on them. And
Yep.
because Lucy Letby can't claim that she had inadequate representation of counsel, because that means nothing in the UK. You cannot get a new trial based on that. She's kind of screwed. But then what this neonatologist is saying is that he's actually considering republishing this paper with new evidence so that
it becomes a new paper.
Exactly. So watch this space. It's really fascinating the way they're going about this.
I still don't know what I think in terms of her guilt or innocence.
Yeah.
Because as I was saying to you that...
Does it throw a question to you though?
It certainly does.
Yeah,
I'm
me
certainly
too.
like going, oh, I don't know what I believe anymore. Because there was there was the medical evidence stuff, which as I said to you, that's not my wheelhouse. It's more so yours. That I think all throughout the trial, I was always coming to you going, but hang on, what about this and what's that and what are they talking about? To clarify that information as it was. So, but my mind was fairly set on the circumstantial evidence that put her in place of this occurring. We talked about the fact that she was present at present at all of
fine.
these
We're fine.
events.
We're good.
Totally fine. Totally. I'm awake. She was present at all these incidents. What the fuck is happening with my mouth? Present at all these incidents, whereas no other nurse could be put at the.
Oh, see, there's even stuff coming out now to refute that.
Okay, right.
So
wow.
she absolutely was president at all of them. But then there's actually evidence if you change the parameters by which you show events.
Yep.
There are actually other nurses who could have also been implicated.
Right.
So
what about when she went to Ibiza and there was no cases?
Coincidental? Mm-hmm. Like I don't know.
Or they stopped when they took her off the ward.
Yeah, again, coincidental. There's so much that's come out about this. It's just, it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But, there's the thing that gets me, and you and I had this chat earlier this week.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me is all of the little notes and all of the little bits and pieces that the evidence that they found in her house. Like, why did she keep all of the medical notes for these babies?
Yeah.
Why did she write these really fucking weird cards to their families
and keep them and
then the
things
post-it notes that she wrote where she was like, I'm a killer. And I know in the episode we did talk about the fact that doesn't necessarily make her a killer. That's a psychological thing where
working through all those things.
She's working through it and writing it down. I still didn't believe that at the time, and I still don't believe that to this day.
Yeah.
Then the thing that you found when we were doing the episode with where she lives and what her house
bedroom window
overlooks.
looked at, yeah.
Like, I just feel like there's so much there and I'm so conflicted.
Yeah.
And I'm so interested to see where this takes us.
I'll see where this takes us, absolutely. Look, if she's innocent, fuck. But
we'll have to bloody re-record an episode.
And look, we will. We'll do that. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know what I think.
You know what? I think if we do end up having to re-record it, all good and fine.
Yeah.
Because what we knew at the time is what we knew.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what the jury knew and what the media were reporting. And we can only judge on the information that we've got.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact that new information is now coming out, yes, this needs to probably be tested in court.
Yeah.
And whether or not it gets there, I don't know. But watch this space. It's really fascinating.
I mean, look, it could, and as we were saying, what this could do, and it's all the defence need to do, is present some reasonable doubt in the minds of the jury.
I see. If this goes to another trial.
Goes to another trial, if they get a retrial, I mean,
Yes.
Getting the appeal is one thing, but getting over that hurdle and then getting to another trial and having, all they've got to do is by presenting this new information, this new take on that information, if her new defence managed to do that, I feel like it is going to put a bit of doubt in the minds of a jury.
I feel like given the fact that they've got these, like literally the world leading neonatologists now have come out, they've issued an official statement, an official joint statement saying that they do not think that Lucy Letby is guilty of killing these babies. That is enough to me.
But as I said to you, like, I mean, at any trial, all these sorts of things that go on, literally a prosecution can put an expert on the stand, say one thing. The defense can put an expert on the stand who says completely the opposite. And then it is in the hands of the jury to decide which way they want to go with that. And that's where it becomes incredible. And I said to you, to me, they kind of cancel each other out, and therefore I can't take that into, like, you can't really take them into account because it's like, well, who do I believe? I don't have the knowledge myself, and I can probably say 90% of the jury could be sitting in my seat, kind of thing. To me, in my mind, I'd be like, okay, well, all right, I'm going to remove that from my understanding because they both have said the same, like, it's basically counteracted each other.
Yeah.
And then you're left with that circumstantial evidence that you kind of go, well,
Interesting.
what are you going to make of that?
That's it.
It's so interesting. I'm here for it in terms of wanting to know what's going to come of it.
And also, like, at the end of the day, you don't want somebody who's innocent of a crime being in jail.
God,
but then,
no.
But then if she is guilty of this, then she's bloody well where she deserves to be. But, oh, my God, I'm so conflicted.
Yeah. I'll say very, very much. And I don't want to jump to any conclusions because I don't feel like we've got everything.
No, absolutely. We can't say. But absolutely it's thrown enough doubt in my mind to be like, oh, I actually don't know. I don't know what I think. I need to know more information.
Yeah.
We'll see.
God, that hospital though, seriously.
Oh, the hospital has so much to answer for. I just really quickly, I was telling you this when I was looking into it. Apparently the consultants on the ward, so they're the most senior doctors, right?
Yeah.
They, in all other first world neonatal intensive care units, it is protocol for the consultants or the most senior doctors to do 2 ward rounds a day.
Yeah.
So that means they get seen by an expert. The babies get seen by an expert 2 times every single day.
You would hope so.
Yeah. At the Countess of Chester, which is the hospital in which these poor babies died, the consultants were doing 2 ward rounds a week.
That blows my mind. They
also found like some bacteria in the water supply that was then used to like bathe and whatever it's just like so many things. But watch this space.
Yeah, I mean her defence team obviously didn't do.
They were terrible. I think we even mentioned that in our episode. They weren't very good.
No. Yeah. Oh God! Wow.
All right.
Can I just say before we now shift into and jump straight into Snowtown and back where we were?
I actually have a couple of shout outs before we get there, but go on.
Cool. No, all I want to say is, can I just thank you for our lovely chairs that we're sitting in today, because I'm sitting in the most comfortable chair.
Isn't it
whilst
good?
we're doing this, and so I feel like my ass wants to thank you.
No, you're welcome. So normally we sit on my very uncomfortable dining chairs.
But they weren't that bad, but these are really nice.
Aren't they though? So we've just recently put some desks in for our kids because we're getting to that point where they needed a space to, do homework and just not on the kitchen table, which was just driving me a bit batty.
Yeah.
So we got them some desks, IKEA for the win on the desks, but we didn't really like any of the chairs in the desk sort of office type chairs in IKEA. So we went to Officeworks. And these were on sale. They were half price and they are just glorious.
Yes.
They're so padded and so comfy and...
Loving it. I'm sorry, they're too good for your children.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, at least they don't weigh as much, so hopefully they won't destroy them too quickly.
True.
And we can get some nice comfiness for forevermore.
Very, very much loving that. If we've got to sit here a bit longer to do these episodes, then I am more than happy.
Super into it.
Yep.
A few shout outs before we get in.
Yes.
We have Kayla, Sarah and Catherine have been commenting. I think it was mostly in our Spotify, like on the episode comments. Thanks, guys. They were all really positive and really lovely. And they all said, we just love your show. We're really looking forward to it. They've just found us, I think, or fairly recently found us and are listening to the back catalogue. And then I also have a bit of a personal shout out to my ex-work colleague and really good friend, Nadine. You know how you've got those people in your life and you'll call them, it might be, months since you've spoken, but it feels like once you speak to them, it feels like no time's passed.
Yeah.
Nadine's one of my friends like that. And
love it.
I think the last time I saw her was, oh my God, it was months and months ago. But something this week told me, no, I need to call her. And so we had a lovely chat, lovely catch up. And she didn't know we were doing a podcast.
Oh, what?
So I don't know if the last time we caught up, it just didn't come up
Yeah.
or whatever. But so it sort of came up in conversation the other day, and literally that night she messaged me and she's like, I'm 6 episodes in. I'm loving it. It's so good. So thank you, Nadine.
Aw, welcome.
Nice to have you on board. Yeah, that's it.
Love it. Excellent. Oh, I love all the new people that are joining us. It's great. No, I mean, on that same topic, share it with your friends. You know, if you've got, I mean, we're growing, you know, exponentially at the moment. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But we're here for it. So,
Please
yeah,
share it.
away.
Yeah,
share away.
Share it with your friends. That's how I feel like that's how we've been getting growth. Like people are like, oh, I found out about you through this person or whatever. So
thank you to everyone who does that. Absolutely.
We really, really appreciate it. All right. I think we need to get into this because otherwise it's going to be going on.
We're procrastinating again, are we?
Oh, we might be. We might be.
But yeah, I'm, as we said last week, really happy to get this one out of the brain because it's a big one.
It's huge.
Yeah. And we're only going to get, I think, our last episode was bad enough in terms of the intricate detail we went to of like what went on. Today is probably more so.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we should probably start with, again, similar warning to last week. You know, look after yourself. If you need, this is maybe not the episode for you. We are going to talk about, you know, suicide again. We're going to talk about definitely sexual assaults and all those sorts of things again. So it's pretty full on.
And in terms of terminology we use when we're referring to the LGBTQIA plus community, we just want to be mindful of the fact that the language that we use in this episode is the language that was used at the time and by people involved in this story, and it in no way reflects the way that we see the LGBTQIA plus community. And I think Meg mentioned in the episode last week, if we've upset somebody or we have, you know, said something out of turn, please let us know because we're here to learn as well, and we would never, it is never our intention to offend anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Please call us out if we are using wrong terminology. Absolutely. I'd be corrected anytime.
Agreed. All right. So Snowtown, part 2, bodies in the barrels.
We are here at the bodies in the barrels, I think.
We are at the bodies in the barrels. So I'm actually going to start on the 20th of May, 1999.
Yep.
This is the day that the bodies of what we now know were 8 people were found in 6 plastic barrels in a disused bank vault in Snowtown, South Australia. Snowtown's about 140 kilometres north of Adelaide, and it is the scene of the discovery of these bodies, but it is not the scene of where these murders necessarily took place, with the exception of one person in this case. The Snowtown murders, as they've become to be known, actually encompasses the murder of 12 different people, and we're going to go through all that today. The crimes were perpetrated between August of 1992 and May of 1999. And the actual discovery, I don't know if you listened to this actually, Meg. I listened to a podcast where a man, so the forensic officer.
Yes.
Did you listen to this?
A number of ones actually that he spoke in. So
yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah. This was his first case.
Was it really?
Yep. As lead. Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Even after listening to a couple of things from him, I did not know that. So he's a lovely guy, but he was a forensic officer with the South Australian Police Force, and he was based about 20 k's out of Snowtown somewhere.
Yeah, I think so.
And he was called to. So basically, I guess how did the police even come to arrive at the bank?
Well, even that's a little bit of a weird thing. They weren't expecting to find what they found.
No, and that's not at all.
They were looking. It was more so Elizabeth Harvey, one of the victims that we'll get into, that they were looking into, and from looking into her disappearance, and because at that point it was disappearance, it started. The same names kept appearing, and there was some interesting things they were looking into, which led them to going to this bank in Snowtown to have a check out of what was going on there, because one of the people's names was on the lease for it.
Yes.
And it was a disused old bank. So and then an odd smell was coming from the bank at the time. So yeah. And I know that what he spoke about was that he got a phone call from like chief of police kind of stuff. And at the time, because he was so new, he didn't realize that that's not what normally happens, and that person's not normally on the scene, because this was that big a case that level of police officer was on the scene, that he has now learnt since then of like, if that person's there, this turns out this is
it's pretty important,
pretty huge, because he's got the phone call and he said, oh, I've got these barrels here and what do you think we should do with them? And he's like, oh, open them. If you find a foot, let me know.
Yeah.
And then gets a phone call back about 10 minutes later.
Saying I found a foot.
I found a foot.
So I think we're referring to different people when I'm talking. Sorry, I'm actually talking about the photographer who they engaged.
Oh, sorry,
the forensic photographer.
Forensic pathologist I was talking about. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's probably why I'm a bit mixed up. But this, so he was a forensic photographer. So he did all of he called it the CSI shit in the podcast I listened to. So it was his job to photo. He said the worst thing he'd been to at that stage. So he was a youngish guy too, but he wasn't new,
right?
Really.
Sorry,
but the worst thing he'd been to was a bus accident on a Greyhound bus that it was travelling from Victoria to South Australia, crashed in South Australia, and there were fatalities.
Yeah, and
that was the worst thing he'd seen to that point as a young sort of forensic cop.
Yes.
So he was called. It was in the afternoon, and he got a phone call from his sergeant to say, you need to get yourself to Snowtown. There's just something there you need to photograph. They found something. It smells, and like, don't know if it's going to be animals. Don't know what we're going to find in there. But you know, they've requested a forensic photographer to go, and that was part of his role. So he rang his wife, and this is back, I think he said it was very early days of mobile phones, but he actually had to stop to call his wife and was like, yeah, I'll probably be home for dinner, but not sure.
Don't want dinner after that.
Turns out, didn't get home till the next day, because when he got there, he was one of the first people to go in. So apparently the first police officer who went in was a woman. She walked in, and she walked in, I think, with her superior, and the smell was so overwhelming. Her superior literally grabbed her and shoved her outside, because they're like, if she vomits in here, that's going to contaminate what's potentially a crime scene.
Yeah, yeah.
So what they've then done is everyone's retreated, and
they're all vomiting out the front.
Yeah, and when this guy came, the forensic officer came, he was trained in full breathing apparatus, and none of the rest of them were. So he actually donned his full breathing kit with the oxygen tanks and everything, and full gowned up. And he was actually the first person to go into that bank, because he was the only one who could stand the smell.
Well, but I believe he could, in that full suit and with oxygen, everything. So therefore you'd think this smell couldn't penetrate that, but it did. He still he says, did cop some of the smell.
And not only that, he reckons, so yes, he's in this full forensic suit. He reckons when he left there that day, or the next morning, I think it was, because they were there for a very, very long time, he got home and he said his clothes smelled so bad. It was like he's never smelt anything like that, and that was just his clothes. And they were under the suit.
Yeah, some of the police officers have said to this day that smell is burnt into their brains. Like they can still smell it.
I can imagine the smell of death. I remember, and I'm not comparing my experience at all to what these police officers or any police officer who's attending this, but we were down at Phillip Island one day, and a whale had washed up on ashore, and we went, everyone was going down to see it, because you never see that. It was an incredible thing to see.
Yeah.
But that smell, people were vomiting then.
Yeah, right.
That smell of a decaying mammal was so overwhelming. And people were sick because of it. It is such a strong smell. So I can imagine that. And then you take into account there's 8 bodies. They had been deceased, for some of them, for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Yes, they were in hydrochloric acid, but that doesn't preserve a body.
No.
And
didn't break it down entirely either.
No. Oh my God. So anyway, this forensic officer was the first person to open the first barrel, and not knowing what they were going to find in there, he said they kind of thought it might be animal remains, because of course,
Why would
your
you
first
think?
thought isn't, oh, I'm going to find bodies in here. But as you said, he's like, oh, well, if I find a foot, I'll let you know. They open up the barrel, and what do they find? A literal foot.
Yep. Yep. The pathologist then that I listened to, because then the issue was what do we do to get these, find out what's in here, but also preserve whatever else is, whatever is in the barrels entirely could be evidence. I mean, because when they did finally get them out, there was other belongings and things in there to identify people, to and things that were used within the process of this that they needed to preserve. So it was quite an exhibition to be able to transport these barrels entirety to the pathology office, and then
that job?
strain. They literally strained then out the liquid to make sure that they could then keep any evidence inside, how big or small, to keep anything they could to then look at it and find any evidence. So what an ordeal to then, and then what he explained too was that the acid they had used was not ideal in that it didn't break the body down, but what it did do is break down enough that there was no DNA that was able to be extracted from these people, like right down to bone marrow. No, the DNA had been what's the word for that? Because
it was basically bleached.
Yeah,
it was basically bleached that they'd put them in. So it had just destroyed all the cells. There was no DNA left. It had all been degraded.
So they had to
completely
use
obliterated.
Dental records, tattoos, other markings on the bodies and things to be able to identify which body part went with who and who these people were.
Well, this is the thing, because I think they assumed at the start they had 6 barrels, there were going to be 6 bodies.
Yes.
But what they actually found was the 6 barrels
3
actually
feet in
contained...
one barrel.
Yeah, 6 barrels actually contained 8 bodies, and bits were mixed up because, if you can't fit someone whole as bolus in there, well, I'm going to have to cut them up and pop them in the other barrel. How annoying.
Well, this is the thing. I think that when they got to a point where they'd filled the 6 barrels, and then when they continued to do this, they're like, oh, I'm sure I can shove a bit more in that barrel. And that's what they did, and spread them out from there. And, oh, God.
They used a stick to, mash
poke them in and
poke the bodies in, and so they could fit more in. Why didn't they just go and buy another barrel?
I don't know. Why'd they do anything?
I mean, why did they do any of it? That's
just the comprehension of any of it.
Oh, it's beyond. It's actually
Absolutely.
quite literally beyond comprehension.
So horrific.
So let's start with, we're going to go victim by victim today. Yep. There's a lot of instances in this where we don't have exact dates of death because they are unknown. We know maybe on or around what date these people were murdered, but I mean...
Maybe a month if we're lucky.
Yeah, maybe a month if we're lucky. But these people, it's not like they kept records of what they were doing. So a lot of it's sort of either hearsay or just sort of gathering information from when they went missing or when particular incidents happened, and we can assume...
witness statements. But, we're talking from a period of 7 years from 1992 to 99.
Yeah.
And one particular person who gave the most amount of eyewitness account of all this was quite young.
Yes.
So him trying to sort of probably give the evidence of terms of actually honing it down to a date would be pretty impossible for anyone, to be honest, to remember exactly what date. I think
the fact that they've even got close is amazing.
Yeah, that's right. But we'll stick to the sequence of what we believe was the sequence of these victims. But that's about the best we can
even then,
achieve.
because when I was ordering my notes, I'm like, okay, but there were some where I'm like, oh, that one thinks that one died first, and so we're doing our best to kind of keep them in what is reported to be the most common order of death.
Yeah, I think so.
Sense?
Yep.
So let's go with the first victim then.
Yeah, well, it was definitely the first victim, wasn't he? We know this for certain. He was also the first body that was found, and he wasn't in one of the barrels, obviously. So, yeah. So Clinton Douglas Trezise, he was 20 years of age. He was a troubled kid in some ways. He was known to be very flamboyant, had a family around him who loved him and cared for him. Not to say that he didn't have sort of a bit of a rough go of things though. It's just awful. Poor Clinton Trezise was bashed to death with a shovel by none other than Bunting. So this was one that Bunting did pretty much on his own.
Yes.
it was in the living room of his Salisbury North home in South Australia. He was just invited around for a chat, really, and so he'd asked Clinton. He'd seen him around. He had named him Happy Pants.
Yeah.
Because he would wear, I mean, at the time, in the 90s, happy pants were the thing, but he would wear quite flamboyant sort of colourful clothing.
Bunting hated that.
And he just couldn't handle that at all. No. As we've spoken about, in Bunting's mind, if you were gay, you were also a pedophile. That's what his thought process was. He could not distinguish between the two. So he had decided that Clinton was a pedophile. And so he, basically invited him over and on August 31st, 1992, and he was sitting on the couch and he just whacked him over the head with a shovel. He buried his body out in a shallow grave out in Lower Light in South Australia. Now, his body was found in 1994.
Yes, the 16th of August in 1994, so
Yep.
almost 2 years later.
Yeah, yep. So there were some guys working out on a farm and they had stumbled across a bone at first, which they kind of just thought was a sheep bone of some sort, an animal bone like that. But when they looked a bit closer, they realised that it was a skull. And they could also very clearly see immediately that there was head trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So
that means the skull must have been crushed or like bashed in.
Bashed with the shovel. You could see the damage immediately.
That shows just how rageful the attack must have been.
Absolutely. So, basically they realised that they had disturbed a grave of somebody and called authorities, obviously. So at this point, Trezise was his sister was looking for him, was actively trying to find him. So he was actually the subject of 2 episodes of Australia's Most Wanted.
This is so fascinating.
Yeah. So on these episodes were watched by Bunting. It was in 1997 by the time they were actually on the show.
And his sister, so Clinton's sister, had been looking for him this entire time. She had no idea what had happened to him.
No. So they had these bones, and they hadn't actually identified him as Clinton Trezise at this point.
No.
They basically were saying that there was these bones, and we're trying to find out who it is. I think there was twice they re-examined the bones and still didn't identify the body as Trezise. It took a third go before they actually pinned it down to being Trezise.
Mm-hmm.
So Bunting sat and watched Australia's Most Wanted, and with his at the time, Flasakis, his stepson, I guess you'd call him, and his mother Elizabeth Harvey. I'll get the names right and make sure.
Oh my God,
Elizabeth Harvey, who was his partner at the time,
was Bunting's partner. At the time.
Bunting's partner. So they were sitting watching it together, and he boasted to them that, oh, that's some of my handiwork.
Literally. And this is, I think we spoke about this in last week's episode. He is indoctrinate. Like, he's basically, by saying that, he has now got Vlasakis and Elizabeth obviously as well, but he has got Vlasakis now. He knows something that he probably never wanted to know. And that implicates him in a way.
Yeah. Well, by 97, he'd probably seen a hell of a lot for Sarkis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think this just further...
Yeah.
I mean, what was this poor kid to do?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, they clearly weren't in a state of where, like, you could hear someone say that to them and go, oh, wait, I need to go and report this to police. Like, just horrible.
At the time of Clinton's death,
yeah,
Barry Lane, who later became Vanessa Lane, assisted Bunting in the disposal of his body.
Yeah, yeah.
Of Clinton's body.
Yeah, so he was already involved in 1992.
In 1992, he was involved.
Yeah. Ugh, gross.
This brings us to victim number 2, Ray Davies.
Yeah.
Ray Davies had an intellectual disability. He was in a relationship with Bunting's ex-partner named Suzanne Allen. Mm-hmm. Suzanne, it's so intertwined, isn't it, the way this all works?
Yeah.
Suzanne's grandsons said that Davies made sexual advances towards them. So Suzanne Allen was she was a bit older than Ray.
I just realised in my head, Ray Davies was 26.
Yeah, but
And she's a grandmother?
Yeah, but she was only like in her 30s when she was a grandmother.
Holy cow.
So I feel like she had kids young and then her kids had kids young.
Yeah.
I think she was in she might have been 10 years or so older than him. I think she was in her mid to late 30s.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
It'd be like us being a grandma.
Oh.
Can you even imagine? Oh, God.
I'd lean into it. But no.
But so basically, for fuck's sake, Davies molested her grandchildren.
Yeah.
They then broke up because of all of this, but so Suzanne still let Ray live in a caravan on her property.
Yeah. Around her children.
Around her kids. Like what? Oh, her grandkids.
Yeah.
And her kids. I mean,
Yeah,
regardless. What the fuck? Wouldn't you be like, you can fuck right off. I don't care what happens to you. You are no longer welcome.
But they also don't report this stuff to police.
No, none of it's reported. This is the thing that I find.
Yeah.
Is that because of just the
lack
environment
of
they're
trust
all in?
with police officers,
Yeah.
all that. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah.
So Ray Davies was killed by Bunting on the 25th of December in 1995. We know that date for sure.
Yeah.
On the 26th of December, so the next day, Ray's daughter Annette saw Bunting and Ellen cleaning out the caravan.
Yeah.
So she couldn't spend Christmas with him for whatever reason or visit him on Christmas Day. So she's gone on Boxing Day to sort of catch up with him and be like, okay, well, let's go and see Daddy Dearest, and see what's going on then. Bunting tells a story that Elizabeth Harvey, so this is Vlasakis's mum,
Yeah.
stabbed Davies in the leg, and Robert Wagner strangled him with jumper cables. So that's his story of how it all went down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Bunting and Wagner then apparently put Ray's body into the boot of a car. Now, this is the bit, okay. Last week, I mentioned The Castle.
Yes.
The movie. And how it conjured up the I dug a hole sort of scenario.
Filling with water. Yeah.
They put Ray's body into the boot of a Tirana.
Yeah.
Daryl Kerrigan, Dad in The Castle,
Yeah.
quote of the century, really.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, can you move the Chimera? I need to get to the Tirana. I need to get the Tirana out to get to the Commodore. Yeah, sure thing, Dad, but I'll have to get the keys to the Cortina if I'm going to move the Chimera. All right, mate, just watch the boat.
It's one of the best lines ever because I lived that same shit too. And when we all turned 18 and we got our licenses, it's exactly what happened in all of our houses.
Exactly.
And if the Marina to get to the Holden to get to the Commodore.
And if you grew up in an Australian household and your parents didn't have either a Tirana or a Commodore or a Chimera.
Did you even grow up in Australia?
Exactly. We may have ticked all of those boxes. Or maybe not the Tirana, but we definitely had a Chimera and a Commodore.
I'll just top it because my brother drove a VB Commodore with a number plate ANK. So we put a W in front of it.
Well, that was asking for it.
Totes.
What an idiot.
God. Yeah.
Anyway.
Side note.
That was a bit of a side note, bit of a tangent, but couldn't not mention it.
No, if we can get some light in this, we will. Because Jesus Christ.
Yep. So anyway, Bunting and Wagner have put Ray Davies' body into the back of the Tirana and drove him to Bakara in South Australia, which is 90 minutes away from Salisbury where the murder took place.
Yeah.
They put him in a bathtub and bashed him in his genitals.
Yeah, because we should say that they put him in the back of that car for 90 minutes just unconscious. He wasn't dead.
Yeah, he was unconscious.
It was not a body. Like he was unconscious at best. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say he was barely alive.
Well, what they did to him next was just...
But they bashed him in his genitals until he died. That's what... His body was found on the 26th of May in 1999 in a grave on a property that Bunting had lived on previously. No longer was living there. Mm-mm. There were security cameras. So once this was obviously being investigated, there were security cameras that captured Bunting withdrawing cash from banks in and around the area
Yeah.
between January and April of 1999. So I don't know if surveillance only went for that time period, but over the course of all of these murders,
Yeah.
Bunting gained access to $97,200 of welfare payments from his combined from all victims.
Yeah.
And one of the longest claims that he was making was against Ray Davies. So I don't know the exact proportions of dollar figures for each person, but 97 grand.
Well, I mean,
in
this is
7
the thing.
years for doing fuck all.
Yeah.
Well, for killing people.
As much as he, claims his motives were around this, the fact that he was a pedophile and all these sorts of things, more and more it became around getting money.
He absolutely did.
Because same with this bloke, they cleared out the caravan of any of his possessions, and they accumulated all this furniture and things because they would clear people's houses out, but they'd also collect their welfare payments because people weren't looking for these people when they went missing. No. As we said, Clinton Trezise, yes, his sister was looking for him, but they just didn't connect the dots at all on where he was. But no one was reporting Ray Davies missing. No one missed him.
Even his daughter, who rocked up there on the 26th of December looking for him,
saw them clearing his caravan out. They took it on face value that he just moved on wherever he went and he's gone.
As in they've probably said to her, he was
he moved to Queensland.
Yeah, he was molesting the kids. We told him to fuck off. Well, what's she going to do with that information? She's like, okay, well then now I can't find my dad. Don't know where he is.
But probably better off without him too.
Yeah.
So,
but the fact that she was, as an adult, he's going back to visit him for Christmas, I'm like, there must have been something there,
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, a lot of what we're telling you, nothing's been taken to court. Like, we don't know that he probably was a perpetrator of sexual violence against young children, but there is nothing proving that. None of these people are convicted pedophiles. And I'm not saying you have to be convicted to be a pedophile, but what I'm saying is, in the law of bloody Bunting, or in the courtroom of bloody Bunting, he's just,
he was using, he was, any excuse, okay, or someone said maybe that person is a pedophile, therefore they are. And I'm sorry, but
sometimes he just decided that they were when they, for
just
example, Clinton Trezise.
Yes.
Why? Because he's gay, then he must be a pedophile, so we're going to fucking kill him. That's horrific.
And what else? He hadn't done anything to anyone to, he's particularly one that stands out to me, Trezise, that I just kind of go, there was nothing. I honestly believe Bunting had escalated to a point of, I'm ready to kill someone.
Yeah, agreed. And Bunting, in his mind or in his ideology, whatever he was thinking, was like, well, I'm justified in doing this because he's gay and a pedophile.
Yeah. Yep. And at that stage, he had met Wagner, who became the muscle. This is the thing. Bunting wasn't the biggest bloke and he wasn't the strongest or anything like that, but Wagner was.
Yeah, so Wagner was tall, but he was also hefty. He was a big man.
Yeah. And obviously this will come up again and again, but what would happen is that Wagner would do the actual killing. He would be the one who'd be strangling the person, which is quite often how the murders would take place eventually. And so he would do that, and what Bunting would do is just intently watch for that moment when they would leave their body, basically. Which horrible. Is just horrible.
It's psychopathic.
That was, and that's presented in that movie that we spoke about, the Snowtown movie. And they were parts of that. That was the parts of the movie where I was, I can't. I'm out. I was looking away and
distracting yourself in other ways. Yeah.
Yep. Big time.
The third victim was Suzanne Allen. She was 47 years of age at the time of her death. And she was actually found buried at Bunting's house in Salisbury North on the 23rd of May in 1999.
Which is following after finding the barrels, they found more bodies. Yeah. And which
so it was 3 days later.
Yeah. So
they went and did a search, obviously, of his property, and that's what they found her. She was wrapped in plastic bags. Her death was obviously concealed by Bunting, and he claimed about $17,000 worth of her pension during this time.
Yeah.
So from the time of her death through until, 1999, May of 1999.
Yeah.
Bunting claims that she died of a heart attack and
then he just covered up her death to then take her pension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was actually never convicted of her murder.
No.
Unfortunately, because there was a lack of evidence to support the fact that he'd murdered her.
Yeah.
What gets me, though, is he's concealed a murder. There's still a crime that has taken place here, but they just didn't pursue it.
They ended up dropping it entirely, because they just couldn't get enough. Well, the jury were locked on it. It was a deadlock in the jury. So they just this one is unfortunately out of the 12. You'll see we'll get to when they get to the end that only 11 murders he was convicted of.
Yeah.
This is the one of Susan Allen where they just couldn't convict him on it. No. So I mean I think that's really tragic for Susan Allen and for her family that we couldn't get that over the line because, as you say, either way he's done something pretty shit no matter what.
Yep.
But just horrific.
The next victim is Michelle Gardner, formerly Michael Gardner, 19 years of age. Oh, my fucking Lord.
Yeah.
She disappeared in 1997 and she lived with Wagner's wife's cousin. So, again, this is so...
It gets so intertwined. And trying to work out where these people fit in amongst each other. But they were all interlinked somewhere.
That's it.
Yeah.
They all... Yeah, there's a tie.
Yeah.
There's a tie into everyone.
This is the thing, they weren't just going out really and selecting randoms in that way. These were people they knew. Yeah, and people they were potentially related to, or at least your neighbour was related to.
Yeah.
Sort of stuff. It was...
It's very, very personal.
You've got to wonder why no one was going, hey, how come all these people that are connected to each other are missing?
Bunting took serious offence to Michelle's presence and life, and he was overheard calling her things like the biggest homo and all this like really derogatory things.
Yeah.
In 1997, Michelle was playing with Wagner's children in the front yard and she placed her hand over one of the kids' mouths, which, okay, what the fuck? Like, that's not playing. No. That's like weird shit. But I mean, you're 19 years old. You probably haven't had the best upbringing. Maybe you don't know how to play with young kids in a safe and, I don't know, constructive way. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Wagner saw this happen and... the rage was incited immediately.
Because apparently when he was, as a child, sexually assaulted, that was part of when he was assaulted, the person put their hands over his mouth.
Oh, is this Wagner?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wagner.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Watching that happen, this is what Scott told of why that was so triggering.
Okay.
That's what he brought it to Bunting saying, like going, no, that's it. I thought she was a pedophile and now I know she is. Like it's
right.
Yeah.
I did not know that part of it. I just assumed that because he saw her doing that to his kids, that was enough.
It did trigger for him something in terms of what happened to him.
Okay, that gives a little more context. Yeah. Not that what happened next is okay, but that gives a bit more context.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically Wagner and Bunting then, they've been like, she's a pedophile, she's a bad person.
Yeah.
So they took her to a shed in Murray Bridge, South Australia, and they strangled her. Now, can I ask, how did where did this property come into play? Do you know?
No.
I don't know either. And I was like, why Murray Bridge and whose property was this and how did they know to go there?
Was it potentially Hayden's?
Maybe. So
he did own a house.
Yes, but was it in Murray Bridge?
I feel like it might have been.
Okay,
now when I'm thinking
that
about
makes
it.
sense. I
possibly
couldn't find that.
Don't quote us, but I think that might be where that came into it.
Okay. Because I was like, how are they finding all these random places to kill people?
Yeah, well, the way even Hayden got this property is a bit fucked up too. So because he did own it. It wasn't a rental. It wasn't like, yeah.
Okay. They've strangled her.
Yeah.
She's deceased.
Yeah.
They then staged a robbery at her house.
As good as the president.
And told the cousin, who she was living with, that she'd used the money for a sex change operation.
Yeah, and fucked off.
And so it was like Michelle had robbed her own home where she was living with
they were in a relationship, I
They
believe.
were in a relationship. Yes.
Yeah.
But that she's fucked off and taken the money and she's using that for a sex change operation.
Yeah, so that's where she is. She's not dead. She's disappeared doing that.
And she's not coming back because she's stolen your money and she's now
So then that makes her not go, I'm going to report her missing to the police because, she's been a bitch to me. She's taken all my stuff and looking after herself. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So Michelle's body is the first body to go into a barrel.
Yeah.
And they had to cut her left foot off in order to fit her into the barrel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that just gives an idea of the trauma and the absolute horrific nature of what happened to this poor woman.
And that escalation again. To move from burying bodies to now putting them in the barrel and then am willing to cut off a limb. To me that...
And is this more do you see this more as I'm keeping my trophies now? So you've buried a body elsewhere.
And I can't be with them all the time.
I can't see them because the fucked up thing is Bunting would actually go and look at these bodies sometimes.
Yeah. He had a shed out the back of their place where he kept these.
Now the smell.
The smell.
It must have attracted, if nothing else, animals or... maggots and God only knows what else.
Well, what he told everyone what that smell was and what was in those barrels was he told them they were kangaroos, that he had kangaroo meat down there. Why would you do that with kangaroos?
That's true, but he would slaughter kangaroos just at home just to
he was
eat
totally fine with that.
Yeah, and he'd cut off their tails. Oh my God, that is just...
Yeah, kangaroo meat is absolutely edible, all that sort of stuff.
It's delicious. It's lovely.
I haven't eaten it ever. I can't do it.
Really?
I just can't do it. No.
No. You know what? There's this really nice, if anyone does want to try it, Coles do a really nice marinated kangaroo fillet and it's delicious. It's so yum.
I can't.
It's not gamey or anything. It's delicious. It's really, really
still
nice.
Kangaroo.
But you eat cows. Yeah, but you eat chickens.
Yeah, but I think I ate them before I knew that they were.
Okay. It's far more... I think to eat kangaroo is actually far more environmentally friendly as well.
Yeah, I've heard that. Absolutely. I don't know.
Can't bring
I've never been able to do
it.
I know so many people have said to me, "Oh no, it's delicious."
It really is nice.
I just can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had this shed where no one was allowed in there. Now, just plain and simply, that should be a red flag. If your partner, like say Elizabeth Harvey in this situation, living in that place with young children, to go, okay, my partner has a space where I'm not allowed. That's weird.
She was so drug fucked.
Oh God, yeah. Absolutely.
It would probably didn't even occur to her to think anything of it.
No, but yeah, definitely trophy situation though. I think.
For sure.
Yeah, he kept them there for as long as he possibly
without a shadow
could.
Of a doubt. Yeah. Victim number 5 is Vanessa Lane. So in our previous episode, we spoke a lot about Barry Lane. This is the same person. Vanessa was 42 years of age when she was killed. She was Wagner's ex-partner. Go back and listen to our previous episode. You can you'll know exactly how this all sort of came to be.
Yeah.
She was in a relationship with Wagner when Bunting moved to Salisbury North in 1991, and Bunting, again, we alluded to this last time, Bunting kept Lane around despite what Bunting thought about transgendered people or gay people, and because up until a certain point, Lane was useful to Bunting and was providing information and obviously assisting in certain disposals of certain bodies and whatnot.
At a point though, surely Vanessa had to start thinking, maybe I'm on his shit list.
I don't know. That's certainly not the way it's portrayed in the movie.
No, but from what I can gather, because as we spoke about last episode, his spider wall, wall of spiders, Barry Lane was in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and Barry Lane had seen that
he'd
too.
He'd seen the wall. And whether he just thought of himself as being, I'm the informant of all of the other outside of that.
I suspect that's the truth.
Yeah.
And I think because he was at the centre of it, he probably felt a little protected.
In that?
Maybe.
He bloody shouldn't have, I don't reckon. Sorry. We should. Sorry.
We don't actually know the exact point in time when Vanessa transitioned. So
No.
again, we're trying to be sensitive to it, but it's like the timeline is a little bit messy.
Yeah.
Lane was accused of molesting a local boy, and then their home was firebombed. Who did that?
Wonder. But that's what triggered Wagner to leave the relationship too. But what actually was her downfall was that she claimed, well, she didn't claim, I mean, I'm sure it happened. The fact that she was involved in Trezis's murder, in that she helped
bury the body,
apparently that really traumatized her. I mean, God, for all the horrible things that she did to people, I sort of don't feel sympathy for that really.
No.
But but she spoke about the fact that Trezis was dead and what she had done in that, and spoke about it to her mother. She had spoken to her about, I believe, I think she spoke to Elizabeth Harvey about it.
Okay. I didn't know that. I know Trevelyan was involved in this one too.
Yes, she definitely had told him about this because that was her partner at the time.
Yes.
So that she was definitely sharing that information more and more. And so Bunting decided, well, she's now liability, and decided that was that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a horrific state of affairs.
Yeah, so there's another escalation here in terms of his behaviours, Bunting's behaviours in this. Then when he does murder Vanessa Lane, in that he gets onto the phone.
Oh, this gets me.
Lane's mother, and so in real time, they're on the phone, and he makes Lane basically yell verbal abuse to her mother. Basically saying, I fucking hate you, you've always been horrible to me, I'm leaving, I'm going to move to Queensland, I don't want anything to do with you, never contact me again, this sort of stuff. He forces her to do that on the phone to her mother.
But the mum can hear Trevelyan in the background.
Yes.
Basically telling Vanessa what to say.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And so the mum's like, what is going on here? It's so bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah. So once again with this, it ramps up again as well in terms of the torture when they kill Vanessa Lane.
Yes.
Ugh.
They crush her toes with pliers.
Mm-hmm. Well, before she's dead.
She's dead. They're torturing her because they want to get her bank account information and PIN numbers or PINs and all of that.
Is what I ultimately think was his motivation in times of this sort of stuff, was like, it was then, well, we need all that info too. We need to get the money as well.
Yeah, well, this is where it's kind of really... I mean, they were obviously getting the pension payments for... Was that Suzanne Allen?
And they were still getting money out of Davey's bank accounts too.
As well.
Yeah.
And so now they're really... Like, this seems to be a source of, like, well, I guess we're killing you. We might as well take all your money or take any, welfare payments you're going to receive over the next however many years.
Yeah, yeah. He also, Bunting also took over her car. So I think it was kind of a decent car too.
I think it was a good car.
BMW even, potentially. Bit of a step up from a Holden.
Is it? Sound Australian of you, Meg.
Yeah,
but it was, accessing Vanessa's Centrelink payments for many years following this.
Yeah.
And Vanessa's body was found in a barrel on the 20th of May in 1999 with Gardner.
Yeah.
So the two transgendered people were in a barrel together. I find that fascinating.
Oh, they were in one barrel together?
Yeah.
I thought he put them in separate barrels.
Nope.
No. Okay.
They were in the same barrel.
Wow. Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's considered. He's obviously done that deliberately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is he planning there's going to be more after that? Obviously still.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, God, get in the mind of a
you can't.
Serial killer.
This is it.
You just can't.
No.
Okay, so now we're up to victim 6. Thomas Eugenio Trevelyan, who we were just speaking about.
Yeah.
Who assisted in the previous
He played a
victims,
role in
the previous victim's demise.
Yep.
He was only 18 years of age.
So
again,
I mean,
what influence have these older men got?
Yeah.
And they obviously have a lot to answer for.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Vanessa Lane traumatized a number of young people. Yeah.
So Trevelyan was, as we mentioned, Vanessa's last partner. There was a 24-year age gap. Ew.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He
Gross.
Suffered, absolutely. He suffered from paranoid schizophrenia, which made him think he was a soldier. So he would always wear army fatigues and stuff. So he's quite out there. There was an incident though where he was playing out on the lawn out the front with kids again. And this is the thing, around all of these murders, there are young children running around in amongst all of this.
And this is just
awful.
Their life. Like, this is the way they're growing up. Like, it's just horrendous.
Trevelyan, at this moment, he's chasing after a dog and he wanted to kill it. He had a knife and everything.
As in Trevelyan wanted to kill the dog?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was chasing it down to try and kill it, and he was stopped. It didn't occur. However, this was the trigger moment for Bunting to then say Trevelyan is a liability.
Is this where he's like, oh, Trevelyan's gone mental?
Yeah.
So, okay, but Bunting's killed animals in the past. What the fuck? Like, he fucking
regularly killing animals.
And he basically like butchers kangaroos and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's solo in this practice.
No, nope. Yeah, so I mean that's what I mean by he changes his reason. He finds a reason all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you can see from like 92, his next murder wasn't until like 95. But you're getting up around the 97 and he starts pinging them pretty quick after that. You know, like it's...
Yeah, you're right.
There's a real escalation to it. And like obviously there's not a hell of a lot of time, I don't believe, and we don't know exact dates. Oh, no, we do. Sorry. This was November 1997, 4th of November.
Yeah.
So, I mean, between Lane and Trevelyan's demise, there wasn't a hell of a lot of time.
No.
So he really has gone off the back of one and kind of gone, yeah, no, we'll knock that one off too. And maybe more so the fact of Trevelyan being an accomplice to Lane's death maybe had him a bit, you know, like, yeah, no, he's not someone I want to keep around. He might mouth off.
Especially, I mean, if he's a paranoid schizophrenic, I mean, he's probably acting in a fairly erratic way.
Yeah.
I guess he is a liability because God only knows what's going to happen. And if he really thinks he's in the army, maybe, you know, he'll have a crisis of conscience and be telling someone about that. Or I guess they just didn't know what was going to happen.
No.
Unfortunately, previous to his death, Trevelyan had actually attempted suicide a number of times. And this was known in the community and to his family. Mm-hmm. And so the way that his murder was actually perpetrated was that he was driven to Kersbrook in Adelaide Hills by Bunting and Wagner, and he was hung from a tree. And he was then found by, I'm just trying to think now. How was he found? Somebody was walking past. It was on a farm, I think. Yeah. And was it a farmer sort of saw something and went over to him and obviously found that he'd been hanging? They've called the police. The police have come and the police are like, well, this is a pretty clear-cut suicide. No further real investigation had taken place once they'd realised or once they'd investigated the fact that he'd actually made previous attempts on his life.
Yeah, the coroner very quickly just determined it as a suicide.
And so we're still not, we're still not having
red flags.
Bunting's not being implicated.
No.
Wagner's not being implicated. And we're left with a dead 18-year-old. No. Victim number 7 was Gavin Allen Porter. He was 29 years of age and one of Lasakis's friends, so one of Jamie's friends. Mm. He was a schizophrenic as well and had grown up for a majority of his life, a huge portion of his life, in mental institutions. This poor kid had just had a bit of a rough trot.
Yeah.
So his mother had actually passed away when he was really young too, and he moved from Melbourne to Adelaide at that time, which I think was in 1997 when she passed away. And he met and moved in with Vlasakis pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So again, I'm like...
They just collected these people.
They really did. And they collected people who had no one else and no one looking for them.
Porter was considerably older than Vlasakis too.
About 10 years older than him?
Yeah, at least. Yep.
Yep.
I mean, quite actually 12 years probably older than Vlasakis. Like it's...
But he was a heroin addict and Vlasakis was deep into his addiction at this point. So they probably found kinship in that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They even moved house at one point and Porter moved with them.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I remember. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So he was like well and truly in with them.
Yeah. And like because of his drug use, Bunting hated him.
Yeah.
He couldn't stand him.
He said Porter was a waste and didn't deserve to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess once Bunting's decided that you're not worthy of life, then watch out, because
I reckon this one was where Vasakis, really, this is where it became
it changed.
the shit show for him.
Yeah,
Like,
the situation changed for him.
Yeah.
Bunting was actually sat down on a couch at home and was pricked by a used needle that Porter had left on the couch.
Yeah.
And so that incited, that was the trigger point. Like we've talked about that in all of the victims so far. There was a trigger point.
It didn't have to be much. I mean,
this
don't think I want to be
horrible.
pricked with a used syringe either, but yeah.
But that was sort of the flashpoint and where, things kind of took a bit of a turn, and they decided, right, it's your turn.
Yes.
Bunting and Wagner attacked him when he was asleep in his car. So while he was living with them, I guess, he actually was just living out of his car on their property. So they didn't even have the decency to let him live in the house with them.
Yeah.
And he was probably so lost and so... Like, what else was this poor boy to do? His mother had died. He was schizophrenic, so he obviously had his own battles and struggles.
Yeah.
And he was obviously a heroin addict as well. And he's living out of his car.
Ugh.
So sad.
Absolutely. But so obviously they attacked him while he was asleep, but as he woke up, he actually managed to stab Bunting in his hand with a screwdriver. Good on him.
Fucking great. This is the only time where I've reported Bunting having any sort of negative repercussions for any of his crimes.
Absolutely. But yeah, he unfortunately, Wagner was a big bloke, as we've said. He did overpower him fairly quickly.
And easily.
So he was strangled. They performed the murder was done, but they presented the body to Vasakis, to sort of, this is your friend.
How did they do that? Was it after they'd put him in the barrel?
It was before they put him in the barrel. I think, because Vasakis vomited and everything at the side of it all.
I know later on as well, though, they made Vlasakis go and look at his body in the barrel. Like, they were like, look at what... Because, again, they wanted him to be like, oh, fuck, I'm involved with this. This is, like, on me too.
Yeah.
I know this.
Draw him in entirely. You're now connected to this.
You're a part of this. This is actually, like,
we go down,
see
you
this
go
body?
down.
This is you.
Yeah. Because he also was, I think, in this, was trying to get him off the drugs.
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest, if you're killing Porter because he's on drugs, well then, therefore, Vasakis is the same. He wanted Vasakis to be his disciple, not the same as Porter. So this was his opportunity to sort of go, this could be you or you could be me, it's basically pick which one you're going to be, the one in the barrel or the one putting them in the barrel. What a position to be in as at the time, a 17-year-old. Oh, God.
Oh, horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, yeah. That was a real, I think, turning point for Vasakis, big time.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed. Yeah. We now have Troy Youde, so victim number 8. Yeah. He was 21 years of age. He was the half-brother of Vlasakis, so he was older than Vlasakis, had a different dad, same mum.
Yeah.
Vlasakis confided in Bunting that Youde sexually assaulted him when he was 13 years old. So they... Vlasakis, obviously, we talk about this in the first part of this podcast. Vlasakis was a victim from a very, very young age, and the fact that his half-brother perpetrated sexual assault against him when he was 13 is horrific. It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah. Well, his half-brother, Troy, would have been... 16 when he perpetrated that against his younger brother. It's just,
But then what happened to Troy,
the same thing happened to him. It was his stepdad did it to him too.
So it's cyclical. It's like...
Oh, it's generational.
Exactly.
It's awful. How you get out of that cycle, God, yeah.
The way that the murder of Troy came about, though, this gets me. Yeah. So, Bunting and Wagner woke Vlasakis up one night and was like, right, you've got to kill Troy. It's on you. You've got to do it. He sexually assaulted you. You take that back.
Yeah.
You take his life now.
Yep.
And I'm guessing, at this point, what the fuck was Vlasakis to do?
Yep.
If he didn't do that, then what would have come of him?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So They beat him while he was asleep, as in Youde was asleep. They beat him, and Vlasakis handcuffed him. And I think the other two men, like, bound his legs, I think.
Yeah.
And they started to strangle him.
They used the pliers again on his toes.
They took him into the bathroom, I think, this time, because I'm guessing cleanup's easier in the bathroom.
Easier in the bathroom, yep.
You can just wash the bath out. And I think a lot of,
I think a lot of them took place like that. Yeah.
The toe thing gets me.
Well, they did it again. Learnt from the other occasion where he had Lane do it live on the phone to, tell other people that he was going away and disappearing. This time Bunting decided to use a recording. So whilst crushing his toes with pliers, he would coax out of them, bank details or those sorts of things, but also record messages and sentences so that he could then use those recordings to make phone calls later. Or if someone rang saying, have you seen Troy? He's here. Hang on, wait. Fuck off. I don't want to be, don't want to speak to you. Like, he'd record these messages that he could use then later.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Good forward thinking on your Bunting. But when you're being tortured and your toes are being crushed by pliers, you're not going to sound all that convincing, are you? You're like,
no.
I know, and I'd be like, you wouldn't sound normal. You wouldn't sound like yourself. So were they convincing? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they were convincing enough that nobody was looking for these people, but
nobody would have been looking for Troy anyway, aside from potentially his mother, and she knew about it. So and she was implicated in it.
Yeah.
So there was no real need for that. I don't really understand the recordings in this situation.
No, but I mean, he did have at least the forethought that, if you're doing it live, the person could call out, I'm being murdered by this person, that person, on the phone call. So at least he could avoid that by recording it.
But he didn't end up using the recordings. Like, who would he have used them on?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, who knows? Troy's body was then also put in a barrel and was one of the bodies in the barrel that was kept in the Snowtown bank vault.
Yes.
Okay, victim number 9. We're nearly there. It's so much, I know. It is so much. We have Frederick Brooks, who was 18 years old. Now, again, the bloody web of
kind
people,
of connections.
The connections.
Yeah.
So Frederick, or Fred, Freddie, was it that he went by?
Yeah, I think so.
Was the son of Jodie Elliott, who was the sister of Hayden's wife.
Jesus.
He moved to South Australia in 1997. Sorry, Jodie moved to South Australia in 1997 to be closer to her sister and obviously brought her kids with her.
Yeah.
Bunting became obsessed with the fact that he thought Brooks was touching little girls. He told people that, something has to happen to him. He's touching up little girls.
But it sounded to me as if this guy was actually someone who was on a path to get out of this horrendous environment.
For sure. And there's literally no evidence to suggest that he was touching up little girls.
No. He literally had been notified that he had been accepted into the Australian Air Force.
As a cadet.
Yeah. I mean, that's not an easy thing necessarily to get into. I mean, the Air Force, you need to be able to meet certain criteria.
Absolutely. But also the fact that he even had the gall to go out there and apply and try to get into that shows that he was fundamentally a different person to everyone else he was growing up around.
Absolutely.
He wanted out.
Yep.
So this is what I'm saying when I say that you've got a choice in life.
Yeah.
So he's had a fucking shit upbringing too. Like his background isn't that much better than any of the rest of them.
Oh, I mean, why would you choose to uplift your children from somewhere and your child, one of them being one that's like wanting to get out and go join the Air Force cadets and pick them up and go, hey, let's go move next door to or nearby my sister who is involved in all this shit?
Yes.
What?
So what the fuck? Like this kid was... he was going places. He was getting out. He'd made some really good choices in his life. And yet fucking Bunting decided...
Oh, and he did a number on him too. Like, it's horrible.
It's just horrible. So what they did was... Now, he was a young boy, right? Really. He was a young kid
18.
when this happened.
Yeah.
18. Vlasakis, Bunting and Wagner invited him to a party. I put that in inverted quotes, inverted commas. They basically lured him to his death.
It was like, let's go celebrate the fact that you've got into the cadets.
Yeah, let's go and have a few beers, mate. Like,
Yep.
this is great. We're so proud of you. Mm-hmm. They tortured him, tied him, put him in the bath. They put lit cigarettes in his nostrils and ears. And this is the bit
The one that gets me. Yep.
They lit a sparkler and inserted it into his urethra.
God. Oh. He was alive at that point.
Yeah, he was alive. Yeah, he was alive when that happened.
They, again, got him to record things into a device.
Yeah. This one I can understand.
Yep.
This one, like, he's going to have to, they're going to have to explain his disappearance or the fact that he's no longer around to his mum.
And not turning up to the cadets. Like, I don't know. They got him to divulge his bank information. They also injected via syringe bleach into his testicles.
Mm-hmm.
It was also wired up to some sort of electrical impulse device.
Yeah, they wired his testicles to an electrical current and were like zapping him.
Full torture, like full blown torture. I mean, there's such escalation with each of these in terms of that.
Yeah.
Bunting was enjoying himself.
He was getting great pleasure out of all this. Again, this poor kid's toes were crushed with pliers. Mm-hmm. That just gets me. Like, the thought of that is just horrible.
Oh, absolutely.
His cause of death actually was choking on the gag that they'd taped into his mouth.
Yeah. So
he had to endure all of that torture. Mm-hmm. And again, his was one of the bodies that were found in the barrels in the Snowtown vault.
Oh.
Victim number 10, Gary O'Dwyer, 29 years of age, mentally and physically disabled. He was a neighbour of Bunting's at the time. Mm-hmm. Bunting called him a fag.
Yeah.
Like, the language used is just absolutely horrific. Vlasakis, on instruction of Bunting, because now Vlasakis was really deep in this. He was really starting to be actively involved in the murders. So again, we're seeing escalation from his side as well. Coaxed his bank details out of him. Again, we're doing this for financial motivation.
Yes, this one that is considered purely a financial target. Mm-hmm. There wasn't really any other motivation in terms of whether he was a pedophile or not.
So do you think they picked him because they were like, oh, he must have a good amount of money? Like, what?
Because of he would have had a better, like, a good level of welfare
because
on
of his
disabilities. Yeah.
Fucking disgusting.
Oh yeah, because he was really.
The thing that gets me is they lured him to the pub. They were like, hey, mate, let's go and have a beer together. And poor old
he thinks he's
Gary
making
O'Dwyer,
friends. It's just horrible.
They grabbed his throat. They strangled him. They tortured him for many hours before his ultimate death. I think his cause of death was strangulation.
Yeah.
And again, he was one of the bodies. His body was found in the vault in Snowtown in a barrel. Oh, the next one's a spicy one.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Yes, number 11. This is where we get to Mark Hayden's wife, Elizabeth Hayden. Mm-hmm. So obviously Mark Hayden's wife and also Frederick Brooks, who was victim number, I want to say 7. I've lost my page.
Freddie, where are you, Freddie? Number 9.
Number 9. No, so victim number 9's aunt also, and Mark Hayden, who at this point in time is an accessory to all of this. He is storing the barrels on his property. He is helping move things around, but don't believe participated in the actual murders.
He certainly was never convicted of participating in the murders, but he absolutely covered them up and assisted in disposal and whatnot. Yep.
Yeah. So basically what was going on was that Mark, he was not bright at all. Like, his intelligence level was very low, I should say. He disclosed that he was disclosing this information to his wife.
Yep.
So that Elizabeth Hayden was aware of what was going on.
The scene where they depict this in the Snowtown movie, I found very chilling. So the way that it's depicted in the movie is that he basically says to, like, in a really sheepish way, he says to Bunting, Elizabeth knows, mate. And Bunting is like, well, at the time, I think he's like, oh, that's all right. Yep, no worries, no worries. Then decides, turns out it's actually not okay.
Yeah, well, apparently he just really hated her. Just didn't like her as a person.
What had she done to him?
Yeah, beyond the fact of her knowing things, he just genuinely just didn't like her.
Yeah.
Maybe because she didn't find him attractive or something.
Probably. You know what? Probably.
Yeah.
Fucking cockhead.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Because he considered her a whore. That's right. And a low life.
Oh, I've got that written down as well, but she wasn't a whore.
No.
She and Mark had been together for a long time, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, fucking the judgment.
Oh, God,
The
yeah.
judgment of
Yep.
Bunting, too. Imagine being judged by Bunting.
Oh, God.
Fuck
But
no.
what a piece of shit in Mark Hayden in this situation particularly,
Oh,
I think.
I
That,
know.
like, you know, Bunting and Wagner have just, like, arrived at their home and just gone, well, yeah, so
It's time.
It's time. We've got to do this to Elizabeth. Yeah.
Yep. So I think at the time of the murder, though, Mark and the children were out of the house. So I don't know whether that was orchestrated or not.
Yeah.
I assume it was.
Oh, I reckon, totally.
Yeah.
Why would Mark look after his children?
Yeah, because otherwise, that is true, actually. Otherwise, he really didn't have much to do with the upbringing of his kids.
No.
But he'd taken them out for the. Yeah, good point. Yeah, it was absolutely orchestrated.
Yep.
They dragged her to the bathroom and tortured and killed her in her own home.
Yep.
They put a rope around her neck, a gag in her mouth, and when Hayden was shown the remains of his wife, apparently he laughed.
Laughed.
This is his wife.
Yep.
She could have been the biggest piece of shit known to man, which she wasn't. She was doing her best,
Yep.
you know, being a wife and mum. But he laughed.
He laughed.
At the sight of her dead body. Oh, my God. Now, I'm imagining this as a laugh that was that of, I don't know, humour, maybe. Or maybe not humour. I don't know. Or was it a laugh of like, you know how some people, when they're in a really awkward or uncomfortable situation or they don't know how to react,
Yeah.
they laugh. I think we talked about this in the Jean-Benet Ramsey episode, especially in relation to Burke.
Yeah.
And whenever he speaks about Jean-Benet and he smiles or he's got a really odd demeanour about him. Different. I mean, go back and listen to our Jean-Benet Ramsey episode. But was that the reaction that he was having, that Mark was having, or was it
I get the feeling no.
same? And certainly the way that it's depicted in the movie is not like that. It's like
I think it was he was again so enamored with Bunting and being part of that, the boys, part of that crew, that it was like
the fact that he even confessed to Bunting that he told his wife. I think he probably knew what was going to come of that.
Yeah.
I know he wasn't a really intelligent person, but like surely on some level he'd know that that has to be the reaction that Bunting's going to have, right?
I mean, I guess at a level you kind of go, well, you'd assume I'm telling my wife, wouldn't you? Like she's in on it as equally as much as I am.
I actually don't. I don't know. I don't know.
No. Oh, because again, we can't get in the minds of a serial killer because we're not.
And then they've bloody put her body into a barrel on their own property.
Yeah,
Oh, it's just so fucked up.
I don't know when it was exactly that they moved the barrels.
It was within the preceding 6 weeks of finding it, I think.
So after her death, they've moved the barrels to the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we now come to our final victim and the only victim who was actually murdered in Snowtown. So the final victim is David Johnson. He was 24 years of age at the time of his death. He was Vlasakis's stepbrother.
Yeah.
And Bunting hated him because he was really clean, really well presented, and very fastidious about his appearance. Like his appearance really mattered to him.
So that just equaled.
Apparently that makes you gay.
Gay, yuppie. Yep. He called him a faggot. Like,
Oh, yuck.
it's just such an awful word. Yuck.
Yuck.
Yeah. But he just because he's clean and fastidious.
Oh, whether or not he was gay or not is irrelevant.
Well, we don't even know. Like,
We don't know. No.
Don't know.
No, we don't know.
He just made a conclusion of like, well, no, he's got to go because he's clean.
Yeah, so Bunting basically said to Vlasakis, we've got to get him.
Yeah.
And on the
Well,
night...
they used to use words like he'd say, like, we've got to take him to the clinic.
Oh.
Yeah. He had all these, like, code words.
Oh, yeah, code words.
But they, like,
Blind
I mean,
fucking
what else
Freddy
does that
could-
freaking mean?
Yeah.
Take him to the clinic, you mean the bathroom, so we can torture him. Oh.
And wash all of the evidence down the drain.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so foul. On the 9th of May 1999, he was murdered. And Vlasakis told Johnson there were cheap computers for sale in Snowtown.
Yeah.
And could they, pop down there and have a look at them? And so Vlasakis travelled with Johnson from Salisbury to Snowtown, and they go into the bank, and what comes next? This was part of the movie where I got really uncomfortable.
I actually didn't watch this bit. I couldn't.
It's so hard to watch. It was actually so hard to watch.
Yeah.
Because you know what's coming. You know he's been lured there under false pretenses, and he is complete. I'm not saying any of the victims deserved what they got, but this man is completely innocent of anything.
Yeah.
And they've just lured him there for the literal purpose of killing him because Bunting didn't like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He entered the building and was overtaken by Bunting and Wagner. So Vlasakis kind of went into the building behind him. And then this is fucking another further escalation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wagner and Bunting then cut off a piece of his flesh, fried it, and ate it.
Yeah.
We're talking cannibalism now. What the actual
escalation
fuck?
of the behaviours in these murders is just almost like what you would call textbook, isn't it? Like it is just.
And what would have happened? What would have happened if?
What would have been the next one? I don't even want to know.
How do you go beyond?
I literally don't want to know.
How do you go beyond cannibalism? Like I don't even know.
Or inserting sparklers in someone's penis.
Yeah.
My mind just boggles at it that this was what they would.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
gross.
how you think up these things? Like I don't even.
What made him think that? I mean, literally, that was like almost like, well, what else is left to do? Well, we might as well eat them now.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. So both Bunting and Wagner ate that flesh. Gross.
So fucking gross.
So yeah. So obviously they put Johnson's body in another barrel whilst at the bank there, and then on the 20th of May, which was only less than 11 days later.
Yeah.
The bodies in the barrel were discovered at the bank. So it was fairly close to that. This was, and we should say it was Hayden who had leased the space.
And this is how this all came about.
Yeah.
Because they were looking for Hayden's wife.
Yeah.
And so obviously they're trying to investigate that. They look for any holdings that the family may have. And fucking Hayden had rented the bank in his own name.
Yep.
So they were like, oh, well, we need to go and check out what's there. And that's how they found the barrels.
Yeah. So obviously in the barrels they've then found 8 victims in 6 barrels in the disused bank vault, which they sealed up with all this plastic and stuff, like trying to trap the smell in as much, I guess, as they could, but didn't do a great job of that.
Look, I think from what the police have said, the vault did trap a lot of the smell.
Oh, when they opened it, it was
bad.
Yeah. So obviously, yeah. So 8 bodies were in those 6 barrels. Obviously, some distributed across more than one barrel. And we've discussed that they, to try and do all of that, what they had to do.
Yeah.
But then obviously there were the 2 victims found buried in the property of Bunting's, and then obviously Trevelyan, who was found suicide, or who was claimed to be suicide at the time. They then realised, in connecting all the dots, it was put together that he is one of these victims as well.
I think
and
it's
obviously then Trezise as well was added to that list to make the 12 who, and his body had been put into a shallow grave on the farm. So
I think, all testament to the police for putting these dots together, because they actually came about the rest of putting it all together pretty bloody quickly, because the day after they discovered the bodies in the barrels, they arrested Bunting and Wagner and Hayden actually.
Yep.
And they charged them with murder at that time. So they had enough evidence within 24 hours. Now, I know there was they were
already
already starting to gather
Yeah.
some ideas, but they certainly did not think that when they opened that bank vault, they'd find 8 bodies in 6 barrels by
That's
any
right.
stretch.
No, they had like separately, I think, in terms of investigating missing persons.
Yeah.
They had started going, well, this name's coming up a lot, that name's coming up a lot, and they were connecting things, but not quite to this
But
yet.
this kind of put it all together.
Yeah, they just take a few more days. I think it was 26th of May that they actually arrested Vlasakis as
And
well.
I believe that was because of, like, once they'd interviewed Bunting, Wagner and Hayden, it became more evident that Vlasakis was involved.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously they knew Vlasakis was
He was living with
Bunting.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was still such a young man. I guess it took a little bit of
19
time.
at that point.
Yeah, a little bit of time.
So apparently, Vlasakis, in his first interview, he gave about a 150-page statement.
Yeah.
Gave a fair amount of detail as to what his involvement was and what had happened. When he was then presented with the fact of like what he was going to be charged with, and obviously what the others were going to be eventually charged with, he actually then decided to give another statement, which was like 2,500 pages long. So, which is what meant that him doing that meant that he did get a slightly lesser sentence, I think, helped him out in that respect.
He also, I believe, in that process agreed to plead guilty so that he didn't have to be taken to trial.
Yeah.
And so that obviously accounted for like a slightly reduced charge sheet and therefore sentence. So, look, I guess at this point you can kind of look at that Vlasakis was, you know, maybe somewhat repenting for what he'd done, trying to make things right, trying to do the right thing, because that certainly was not the case.
I mean, he was certainly looking after himself
Bunting, Wagner
in that moment too. Like, I get that.
because no one else was going to look after him.
Nope.
Bunting, Wagner and Hayden absolutely did not do that.
Yeah.
And they ensured that their cases were taken to court.
Absolutely.
So Bunting and Wagner, their trial lasted for 12 months. It was the longest trial in South Australian history to that point. I don't know if since that's still...
I would think so.
I would imagine. I mean, 12 months.
This is the biggest case of a serial killer in Australia.
Yeah.
Like, I dare say this would be the longest still standing. Yeah.
So in December of 2003, the trial concluded.
Yep.
And Bunting was convicted of 11 of the murders. We explained why it wasn't 12.
Susan Allen not being able to be convicted for that murder. Yep.
That's it. Wagner was convicted of 10 of the murders.
He only confessed to 3.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Why did he confess to 3 and not the
No
rest of them,
idea. No idea.
Vlasakis, as we said, pleaded guilty to, in the end, 4 murders. And so... And then in 2004, so the following year, Hayden was convicted of 5 counts of assisting with murders, even though he only admitted to 2 of them.
He only and admitted only to assisting them. He's never admitted and never been charged with any of the actual murders, only assisting.
There's no evidence to support a conviction, conviction for murder on his behalf. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think there were 2 further murders that he could have been charged with.
Oh, right.
But the jury couldn't come to a decision.
verdict. Okay.
Yeah.
So at sentencing, the judge basically said that Bunting was the ringleader. He fully acknowledged the fact that if it wasn't for him, a lot of this probably wouldn't have taken place.
Yeah.
He was given 11, so Bunting was given 11 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole.
Yep.
Wagner was given 10 life sentences under the same conditions. And Wagner, as he was being sentenced...
Oh, yes.
said... made a statement to the court. I don't think he was allowed to, but he did.
No, sometimes they do say.
I don't think he was allowed to. I believe he yelled this out as he was kind of being walked out. Yeah. He said, pedophiles were doing terrible things to children. The authorities didn't do anything about it. I decided to take action. I took action. Thank you. It's like his fucking war cry. Like, no, mate, no.
Because not all these people, well, there's no evidence actually, other than probably Lane, to say that they were pedophiles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lasakis was given 4 life sentences with a 26-year non-parole period.
Yeah.
And Hayden was given 25 years, 18 years non-parole. And in February of 2004, he was actually granted parole. Apparently his behaviour in prison was excellent.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on him walking out. Because, I mean...
I go back to the fact that this man has an intellectual disability and was probably very, very easily led.
Yeah.
But why does that mean he's not potentially going to be easily led into the future?
Anyone else?
By someone else, by another psychopath? Because, you know, a psychopath's going to prey on the vulnerable.
Yeah.
And he's vulnerable. He's proven that.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether...
We don't know where he is in...
Well, he was released into a facility, but then he left the facility, which he was allowed to do. Yeah. He didn't leave in any
He was there for a
month.
month.
Yeah.
And then left.
Yeah.
So he's out wandering and then around. Like, I reckon that's concerning.
It is concerning.
He needs to be tracked in some way. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's conditions of his parole, but I don't know. It's a worry.
Yeah.
And then in terms of Lasakis, he is due to be considered for parole this year.
End of the year, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. But so the thing is, so his name's been changed. He's in prison under a different name, and a lot of information around everything around him has been suppressed. Mm-hmm. We don't actually know if he will be. He won't be in the. It won't be in the media. When Hayden went up for parole, it was all in the media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We will not know anything about Lasakis' parole, whether or not he gets it. We won't know if he's walking the streets. And I have an opinion on what I think of that. Well, I would hope that in the system he has been given a lot of psychological help. Mm-hmm. If that has been the case, if he has been given all the support he should and he deserves to get, mm-hmm. I don't have an issue with him potentially getting out.
Okay.
I know that's controversial. I mean, if there is any inkling of him being in prison and not being the excellent, inmate that Hayden has been deemed to be, mm-hmm. He shouldn't get out. If there is any sign of, and I put trust into a parole board making that decision of like whether he's made progress in terms of all those things. And I really do hope for him that's what's happened.
In our country, we send people to prison for reform.
Yeah. So
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I worry that because he was indoctrinated into this at such a young age, and in his formative years, these were the experiences that formed his life.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is by no means his fault, but I don't know what the likelihood is that he can be fully reformed.
Yeah, I think it's me hoping that for him.
I think same.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I feel a lot of, I don't think sympathy is the right word,
but
I feel
motherly instincts kick in with him, I think, of like, oh God, kid, like if only you'd had a better
freaking kid.
Yeah, like, if you had a better life,
you wouldn't have done this. He wouldn't have.
No.
He wasn't a bad kid.
No.
He was in a bad life
situation.
He was in a really bad situation. And his mum let a really bad guy into their lives. But then you look at her and you think, well, she didn't have the best upbringing.
Oh,
so what
God,
was she meant to do with that?
Either.
She was so fucked up on
drugs. Her
drugs.
mum apparently said to her things like, you should have just been an abortion in a bucket. Mm-hmm. I mean, the cycle, the generational cycle of this is just horrendous.
Yes.
And and that's what I guess there's this like hope in me.
Yep.
Lasakis can end that cycle, like for that abuse. It's just horrible.
Yeah. As you said,
these
we're
people
not
should
know.
never have experienced what they experienced. Like all of these perpetrators should not have experienced what they experienced, but they should not have perpetrated that on others either.
That's exactly right. But with the exception of Lasakis, because he was so freaking young. Like,
yeah, but they were also young at one point, experiencing not to the. I think
experiencing it. I get
escalated,
perpetrating it. Not.
Yes, no, that's right.
That's what I'm saying. Like for me, you choose your choices as well. Like as in you're choosing to perpetrate those crimes. You're not choosing to join the Air Force and become a cadet and get yourself out of that shit.
Yeah,
you're actually actively then as an adult engaging in what you're engaging in, and that's your choice at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that their experiences haven't formed or given them a really easy pathway down to that choice.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there's personalities in there, there's experiences, everything that kind of makes that up. But
Yeah.
I would like to think that, and not even I would like to think, I know that not a lot of people make those choices. So there's still, generally speaking, people choose not to perpetrate these crimes. Just really quickly as well, I think you kind of touched on it before, but this serial killing this type of serial killing is extremely rare.
Yeah.
So generally a serial killer is a male. Next is a female. Next is two males. Mm-hmm. Then it's a single female. And right down the list in terms of serial killers is a group of people.
Right.
So in the world, there are not many serial killings that are perpetrated by more than two people.
But that's why this has got like that cult feel of it too.
Agreed.
Like it's definitely that ringleader
mentality, this herd mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's fascinating. And the psychology of it all but oh God.
Yeah, horrific.
To be in the wrong place at the wrong time and involved in those with those pieces of shit. I mean, God.
The bank to this day has been it was put up for auction, I think in like 2010 or 2012, something like that. It didn't even meet half the reserve, so it was passed in. And then it was sold by private sale for $185,000. And the people who've bought the bank, so it's actually, the bank has a 4-bedroom house attached to it as well. They have opened like a little bric-a-brac shop in there. And they live there to this day.
Yeah.
There's a plaque on top of the bank vault that says, and I think this is a really nice way to end our episode.
Yeah.
In memory of those taken by evil, greed, and ignorance. Whoever came up with that fucking nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
All right. This was a bloody heavy one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's a lot of resources out there. If this is something that you're interested in, there's lots of podcasts. The movie is quite true. So Snowtown is quite true to real life events. There's documentaries. There are there's lots and lots of different information out there. So
yeah.
Please stay tuned for next week. Next week we're actually heading up to Queensland. So another Australian case.
Another one we've had a lot of requests for too, actually.
Yeah, we have. So we're going to be covering the Alison Baden Clay murder. Mm-hmm. And which, I mean, again, this is deep on a whole nother level.
It is. And I've very much remember this occurring.
Yeah, this is absolute living memory for us.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It'll be another big one to research this week.
But not a two-parter.
Not a two-parter. No,
we do try and avoid them where we don't really like doing two-parters. But this was perfect timing for us probably to tackle it, and this is a big one, so it was definitely worthy of a two-parter.
Agreed. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in again. If you would like to buy us a coffee or a wine, obviously we mostly use it for wine. Please head to buymeacoffee.com/2crimebesties. So all one word, TWO Crime Besties. Please join us over on our socials. So we are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all at 2 Crime Besties. And thank you so much for your support.
Thanks for everyone. Thanks for a share or a rate wherever you can. That would be amazing. Chat to you on the socials. Stay curious, Crime Besties.
Bye.